Reminder that Pakistan is in the midst of war. A war many in this country believe is not theirs. Since Pakistan joined America's so-called global battle against extremism, everything seemed to have changed for this nation of 180 million. The so-called war has killed thousands of civilians, shattered the country's economy, and destroyed social fabric. But above all, there is a bigger evil haunting Pakistan for past many years: the CIA's secret war.
Kill a militant, you create 10 more.
The drones fly from Pakistani bases.
तकरीबन ये वाक़या पेश आए हैं.
हमारा गुनाह क्या है कि क्यों हो रहा है?
When people say that the government allowed this, they are not telling the truth.
The September was the deadliest month.
He gave in on certain things.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
We are opposed to drone strikes.
This man has travelled all the way from Pakistan's mountainous borderlands down to the capital Islamabad. His mission is to seek justice, and his culprits are not ordinary criminals. He is up against top individuals from the war machinery of world's so-called superpower. The CIA, he says, has ruined his life forever.
ये 31 दिसंबर 2009 रात के 9 बजे तकरीबन ये वाक़या पेश आए हैं.
It was on 31st December 2009. An American drone hit my house. My brother, who has done masters in English, and my son both got killed.
अपना बेटा शहीद हुआ है और भाई शहीद हुआ है.
Karim Khan belongs to Mir Ali town in North Waziristan tribal region of Pakistan. No matter what the Pakistan government does, Khan has a purpose in life: to expose the killers of his loved ones.
इसमें 3 बंदे का मैंने नाम रखा है. यानी 3 बंदों के खिलाफ मैंने केस किया है.
I have nominated 3 people. I have filed cases against them. I have identified them through the hard work of 11 months.
These unmanned aerial vehicles are used by the CIA to take out what they call high-value targets associated with Al-Qaeda from Pakistan's tribal belt. But the reality seems to be different. These are drone victims. They gathered in Islamabad for the first time to expose the American claims. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are thousands in Pakistan's inaccessible lands going through the same pain. I am now heading towards Pakistan's northwestern parts that share borders with Afghanistan. The province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is the region worst hit by the years of violence and now the US drone strikes.
Arriving at Peshawar, the provincial capital, gives the sense of fear and uncertain future. Though life seems to be rolling ahead, these spaces reflect intense worries.
100% तबाही यही है हर एक आदमी के दिमाग में यही बात है
It is a complete destruction. This once used to be a buzzing market. It is deserted now. People have started leaving their businesses.
बाजार के अपने ही लोग हैं यहाँ से लोग भी चले गए कारोबार छोड़ रहे हैं
People are scared. They do not come to the market because of drone tax. They are not willing to risk their lives. It is painful indeed.
The going is even tougher in the lawless tribal areas, just few miles away from this historic city. It is really hard to verify the US claims of targeting militants. So I decided to make an attempt to get as close to the troubled areas as I could in order to bring you the facts.
In recent months, the United States has not only stepped up its drone campaign inside Waziristan, but also expanded it to other parts of the tribal areas. I am now in the Khyber Agency, which has become the latest target of CIA's secret war. Despite our best efforts, we were not allowed by the security forces to go beyond this point.
Back in Peshawar, I came to see a drone victim in this market where goods smuggled from Afghanistan are sold.
This is the shop of a man whose family has been killed in one of the recent US drone strikes in the tribal areas. He has now abandoned his business after the tragedy, and people here in the local market are reluctant to talk about him, fearing the sensitivity of the issue might create trouble for them as well.
But finally, one of his good old days friends agreed to speak out. He spoke to give us a chilling account of his ordeal.
बिल्कुल सर ये मेरे साथ नेबर है उसका कपड़े का दुकान था अभी फिलहाल उसका दुकान बंद है
His clothes shop was in my neighbor's. It is now closed. His house in Tira was destroyed in a drone attack. His two nephews and a niece were killed and his grandmother had sustained injuries.
और इसी वजह से उसका दुकान आजकल बिल्कुल बंद पड़ा हुआ है
Khan insists most drone victims are innocent civilians.
हमारा गुनाह क्या है कि क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा
What is our fault? Innocent people are dying. We leave to earn livelihood for our children in the morning, and in the evening we come to know there was a drone attack on our house. Our everything is destroyed. If there will be no children to feed, what is the use of our hard work? We have the right to know the reason what we are being killed for.
बंदे का कसूर तो मालूम है कि मुझे एक सजा मिल जाती है तो मुझे तो एक रीजन मिलनी चाहिए ना कि मुझे किस चीज की सजा मिले.
And it is not just Khan. The unsanctioned drone strikes are catching the attention of Americans as well. A study by a Washington-based think tank, New America Foundation, shows there were 215 reported attacks in northwest Pakistan since 2004 to the present. Most of over 2,000 killed did not have any known militant connections. An Islamabad-based non-governmental organization has also compiled figures of drone casualties.
Throughout the year, there were 132 attacks, mostly in North Waziristan, and 938 people were died. And Americans stepped up their campaign after September, and the September was the deadliest month in which 23 drone attacks killed as many as 147 people. There is no mechanism to ascertain that who were these 147 people. They were civilian or they were militants.
The US war has been unpopular on the streets of Pakistan. The use of drones is fueling the anger. Pakistan was at the forefront of US campaign to dislodge the Taliban regime in Afghanistan back in 2001. After 9/11 attacks, the then US President Bush sent a clear warning to Pakistan's military ruler.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
The threat did work. Within weeks, American fighter jets started hovering over Pakistani skies to bound suspected Taliban hideouts in Afghanistan. Containers carrying vital logistics for US-led NATO forces began rolling ahead through the country's soil. And perhaps it was Musharraf regime that allowed deadly drone attacks. But the controversy still remains. Was there any covert deal between Pakistan and the United States?
The historians will write that these were big blunders.
General Qayyum was one of the close associates of former President Pervez Musharraf when he decided to join hands with the United States.
I know it for sure that when this thing came, the American first came to Afghanistan and then went to Iraq, and then they started pressurizing Pakistan. At that time, since President was also the chief executive and also the chief of army staff and all, so he gave in on certain things, and I think this was one aspect. In addition to sharing intelligence and logistics and use of airports and everything, he also told them that they can use our airspace for target acquisition and intelligence acquiring.
We have empowered the people. General Musharraf denies having any secret understanding. General Rashid Qureshi was his aide during his regime, and today he is a spokesperson for General Musharraf, who recently formed a political party. He toiled hard to explain what were the rules of engagements agreed between the Pakistan's strongman and the Americans.
Now, as far as drones are concerned, this formed one aspect of intelligence gaining by the Americans. And what Pakistan or President Musharraf had allowed was gathering of information. There was no permission to attack any target in Pakistani territory, whether air or land. So when people say that President Musharraf had allowed this, they are not telling the truth.
Despite his strong defense, many questions are still unanswered. There are even allegations that US drones are flying from Pakistani air bases. And such suspicions were confirmed when chairwoman of the US Senate's Armed Services Committee spilled the beans with the shocking revelations that drones are flying from Pakistani air bases.
There have been indications that from one base, I think in Jacobabad, drones have known to have landed there. I do know that in the initial stages, when the Americans brought the drones to this area, they were flying from Afghanistan. An air base in Afghanistan, I think it was Kandahar. Whether they've shifted them to take off from Jacobabad, I have no information.
The drones fly from Pakistani bases, so if the government of Pakistan were not to wish it to happen, they can stop it in one day because those facilities would be denied to them.
From experts' perspective, there seems to be hardly any doubt that a tacit understanding, if not a written agreement, is behind the US coordinated campaign.
I don't think so any country can cut into your airspace and go and strike. Even Maldives would not allow that. So I personally believe, based on what I am seeing, that there is a tacit understanding.
To get a clear picture, I arrived at the headquarters of Pakistan's powerful military inside the highly fortified garrison city of Rawalpindi. The chief military spokesperson agreed to speak, though the army avoids making public comments on such sensitive issues.
We are opposed to drone strikes. We feel that they harm more than they help, and the government also has the same position. The government's policy is very clear on that. We are very sensitive to the public reaction, and in this kind of environment where the drone strikes from the other side, I'm afraid it doesn't help. It makes the public cry out, it makes the public go away.
In 2008, political parties hostile to Musharraf's pro-American policies came to power. People who voted them to power expected change.
जो दहशतगर्दी के खिलाफ जंग में हमारी हिकमत अमली का एक अहम सतून होगा.
And there was a change, but not what the people hoped for.
The government of Pakistan have completely embraced the American agenda, politically and militarily. And something has to be said to the 180 million people.
The US drone attacks, which were occasional during General Musharraf's rule, are now more frequent. A recently published book by American journalist Bob Woodward has quoted President Asif Zardari telling an official US delegation that he condoned civilian casualties in CIA attacks, and then a secret cable from the US Embassy in Islamabad. It reveals Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani encouraging US officials to continue CIA attacks. He also pledged to cover up for CIA in front of Pakistani critics. That puts the government on the defensive.
They've been in government for the last 3 years. What have they done? Are they so subservient that if President Musharraf took a decision 7 years back, they have to abide by that decision? It's ridiculous.
Well, that question you must pose to the government spokesman, because as far as the government is concerned, everything military does it on the instructions, the orders as per the policy of the government.
But is there any disconnect between the Pakistan's military leadership and the civilian leadership on this particular issue?
No, there is no disconnect. As I said, the government also believe in the same, that they harm more than they help, and military also is of the same viewpoint. It is up to the government to take a policy shift or policy change.
In October 2008, Pakistan's parliament passed a unanimous resolution urging the government to stop US drone strikes. I met a member of the parliament from North Waziristan, the region worst hit by the predator strikes.
मसला ये है कि हमारी अस्करी क़ियादत हो या हमारे
The problem is that both our military and civilian leadership rely on rhetoric only. However, a serious effort is needed to address the problems, not just rhetoric.
खर्च से मसाइल हल नहीं होंगे.
According to the West, the tribal areas of Pakistan provide safe havens to the world's deadliest terrorists. This is one of the country's most modern universities, located at the outskirts of capital Islamabad. I arrived here to meet the students of the tribal areas to get their sense on what's happening in their region.
How do you feel when the outside world, particularly the Western countries, including the United States, call your area that you belong to, or the tribal areas of Pakistan, that that region is one of the most dangerous places on earth?
This is the exaggeration of America only, that there are Al-Qaeda or Taliban hideouts.
But what about these drone attacks? Then why the United States is carrying out this a secret war, as people call it?
I would neither legitimize military operations nor drone attacks. If kill a person, kill a militant, you create 10 more, but you should kill the thinking which is there.
It might be that they have targeted some high value targets, but after results and if you review all the drone attacks in 2010, you know that civilian casualties are much more than the high value targets.
But the years of violence have shaped their views quite diversely.
This is not the violation of sovereignty, because as Pakistan has become an ally in this war. So if Pakistan cannot eliminate these people, so let allow America to eliminate these elements from the tribal area.
On the other hand, as the US intensified drone strikes, people want the government to act.
These burnt down NATO oil tankers just outside Peshawar speak the volume of public anger against the Pakistan government decision to side with the United States. Pakistan serves as the main supply route for the US-led NATO forces stationed in Afghanistan. But now there have been calls from across the country that government should suspend the supplies to put pressure on the Obama administration to review its policy of drone strikes.
In November last year, Pakistan suspended the NATO supplies for 2 weeks in reaction to the airstrikes by the US forces on one of the security checkposts close to the border with Afghanistan. Pakistani analysts believe this is the weapon the government can use to hit back with at American drone campaign.
The Air Force Chief has been saying that if the government of Pakistan were to authorize, the drones could be shot down.
As both the government and the military continue to seek excuses, Karim Khan remains determined to take the battle to a logical conclusion. He filed an application in local police station in Islamabad seeking registration of a case against the CIA station chief and other top American officials. Khan sought $500 million as compensation in a lawsuit against the US top spy agency.
पाकिस्तान एक sovereign state है, एक आज़ाद मुल्क है.
Pakistan is a sovereign state, an independent country. Why can't it take action against a murderer? It is a clear terrorism. If it can't, then how can we call it a country? We will have to look for some other name for it.
बेगुनाह लोगों को कत्ल कर रहा हो.
And there was immediately something to cheer for him. This man has until recently been spearheading the CIA's secret battle in Pakistan through an underground web of intelligence network allegedly spread all over the country. He had to flee the country to avoid legal challenges Khan threw at him. Though Khan's endeavor has made some headway, frustrations are creeping up in Pakistan.
Critics believe inaction is no more an option. The Pakistan government will have to stand up against CIA's secret war.